According to Fandom Wire, Doctor Strange 2 director Sam Raimi is rumored to be directing the next Avengers movie, Avengers Secret Wars. Now, everyone remembers that he's the one who did Multiverse of Madness, but for a lot of people, I mean, he's always the guy who brought us Evil Dead. I mean, I personally love those movies. More significantly, something is he did the Spider-Man movies from the early 2000s with Tobey Maguire. Now, I grew up with those movies. I love those movies. They were fantastic. Sam Raimi did a terrific job, and that's kind of one of the big movies that really brought comic books into the mainstream and made them popular. I mean, you can have the same goofy premise. Before that, the comic book movies were kind of dark. They're trying to ground them in reality, but that one's like, no, you can have the silly dialogue, you can have the goofy costumes, and people will still love it. And as a kid growing up in that era, I mean, it was just perfect. I remember being excited for the first movie when it came out, and I've watched it numerous times, and I've watched it many times since then. Now, everyone knows that the third one wasn't as good when he brought in Sandman, Venom. I mean, I like the characters, but the movie just didn't quite work. And a lot of that was the result of the studio kind of mandating what Sam Raimi had to do and got a little bit more involved with it. And as a result, the movie kind of suffered. But he still did well, and he still made good movies since then. Now, fast forward, and Sam Raimi directed Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, and that movie was kind of mixed. I mean, it was an okay one, but there was a lot of studio interference with that movie. And I mean, there was some parts of it where you can see Raimi's influence if you're familiar with his work, but for the most part, though, it was kind of a paint by numbers, typical Marvel movie that we've kind of grown accustomed to in the last couple of years. Personally, I would prefer like Marvel did what they did in the phase 1 and 2, where they kind of hired directors that they think would work for that particular movie and then let them do what they kind of do their own thing with that particular movie. I mean, if you go back to phase 1 of Marvel, every movie felt like it was something unique because you got different directors with different styles kind of bringing their own touch to it, and it worked really well. As in like later years, it's kind of the studio is kind of telling them like, okay, this is what you have to do, and as a result, all movies kind of blend together. The best example when you actually get something that's unique in later years would probably be James Gunn when he did Guardians of the Galaxy. But those ones also kind of brought forward this current era of Marvel where they say like this is what you have to do. We kind of want it to be more lighthearted, more jokey and stuff like that. And this is the formula we want. Which so that's a good and a bad thing at the same time. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. With Sam Raimi possibly directing Avengers Secret Wars, I could actually see him making a good movie, but that's also predicated on whether Marvel will actually let him have the rope to do that. Because uh, if you look at the box office for the movie and Multiverse of Madness, while it was okay, it actually did really well, grossing nearly $1 billion worldwide. And if you go over to IMDb, scroll down, what was the budget of that? Yeah, about a $200 million budget. And if you get that and like probably double it for the marketing, everything else that goes with it, so about like $400 million, take away the cuts for the theaters. I mean, this did turn a pretty good profit, so I can see why Marvel would be like, you know what, that was good. We're happy with the result of that, especially in light of recent movies that have actually kind of lost money for Marvel. So they can see like he's the best director that we had in Phase 4, so let's give him a chance at the new one. But again, this is all predicated on whether or not Sam Raimi is given free reign to actually do what he wants. If he doesn't, if the studio is actually mandating a lot of how the story is supposed to go, then it could probably turn a profit. But if not, then I mean, but if they actually leave him if they leave him alone to do what he wants, then I can see the movie being like just something fantastic, akin to probably the first Avengers movie, because he knows what he's doing with comic book movies. So I would really like to see that happen. All right, getting to the article. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has established itself as an outstanding force in the world of superhero films. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Brought back Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man. That was good. in Avengers. Okay, yeah, kind of what I've been saying about. Did a good job with done good job with comic book movies. Did okay with that. Brought back Tobey Maguire from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Everyone loved that. I mean, he was the best part about that movie. But again, I mean, this is all about whether or not he's given room to go. I mean, either way, I think this is going to turn a profit for Marvel when they do Secret Wars, unless just I mean, there has been a downward uh, decline in people going to see the latest Marvel movies in theaters. Most of the time, people have been like kind of. I mean, they're doing okay, but they're not turning the profits that they have been. So if they continue on this trajectory, then I don't think even Sam Raimi can save it because I mean, when did it say this movie's coming out? 26, I believe. No, I don't see it here, but yeah, supposedly it's supposed to come out in 26. So if they can kind of change course and bring people back to the theaters to see it, then this movie can go gangbusters. But if not, then I don't think even Sam Raimi can save it, even if he's given free reign and making a great movie. That's just my opinion. What does everyone else think? Why don't you comment below, subscribe to the channel, and like the video if you want to see more. Thank you. Bye.